Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in. Like always, hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, helps my channel grow. Well, welcome to my Chef Talking Reviews. This episode, I will be talking about my adventures with Superman, episode 8 and 9, titled Zero Day, Part 1 and Part 2. Sorry, guys, for the delay. I figured that instead of having one review, I figured I'd combine the two with the part 1 and part 2 and just make a full review about it. So hope you guys appreciate it. Also, make sure you follow me on my socials as well. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Follow me on SymCast Podcast or SymCast Podcast and Media. Follow me there. Also, join the community, become a member. Go to my Patreon page at SymCast Podcast /patreon.com. Been working on a lot of things over there. I got my shop posted now. It's available. Got some merch. Also got some custom Funkos and custom figures and things. And also, I've been working on my digital comics. It's a little sneak peek on there that you can check out now. Check out my site at Black Taurus Comics or Black Taurus Artworks. Make sure you check me out. I'm on Twitter. You can check some of it out as well. So make sure you follow me there. Also, hit the notification bell so when I do post my videos or post updates and things, you guys won't miss out and you can be a part of the conversation. So, like I said, today's episode, my Adventures of Superman, 0 Day Part 1 and Part 2. You guys are not caught up with the episodes. It's streaming now on Adult Swim and on Max. Episode 10, they return, I believe, Thursday at midnight on Adult Swim, and then the next day on Max. So be on the lookout for my trailer breakdown for that episode as well. So, all right, so let's get into this episode. Well, first, we see episode kind of continued off from the last one where Lois, she found out about what could happen if Superman became evil. She found that spear that the League of Loises they had, where it showed how Superman was. I don't know if that's like the future or a different Earth or something like that, but it was Superman, the different versions of him. So she's pretty much been conflicted about that, kind of like, because she don't know a lot about him, so she's kind of like doubtful a little bit, just kind of iffy a little bit with him. But then we see Superman. He's been introduced to a new power, super hearing. It was cool to see this. He's able to hear everything now, like more than usual. We all saw this play out in like on Smallville. If you guys are a fan of that show, it follows Clark as he grows up, and then he starts gradually getting his powers developed, and as the series progressed. And super hearing was one of them they introduced on the show. So it was pretty cool to see that on this show. A lot of people say or have mixed reviews on this show, said it's kind of geared towards some younger audience, or they don't like the animation. But as long as they keep putting nods like this into it and they still have the essence of Superman, I'm okay with that. But yeah, so you see he's dealing with the super hearing. He's telling Jimmy about it, that he's pretty much kind of like overwhelming him, that he's up saving everybody, that he's doing it to exhaustion because he's kind of trying to, he keeps hearing it, so he's like, can't help it, gotta save everybody, but it's taking a toll on him. And at the same time, he's trying to find the general. So he's using the super hearing to find out what's going on and where he can find them at. So then at the same time, I believe he hears like a villain, I think the Invisible Man. He breaks out, or he's breaking into something. So it's kind of like, it was almost like a setup when he got there. But going back early on, we see Lois. She's at the Daily Planet. Perry, he comes to her, letting her know that somebody he needs her to work with. Turns out to be spoiler, Vicky Vale. You guys familiar with that character? She's a main staple, really, in Gotham City, the Batman lore. If you watch the movie, the Michael Keaton Batman, the '89 Batman, where Vicky Vale played a significant role in the first movie. You know, he took her to the Batcave. She found out who he was and things like that. So that was cool to see that and see that character be introduced on this show. So it lets you know that they keeping up with the lore of Superman, that they not straying away from the story, that we still get a chance to see the stories play out, the things that we're familiar with, the characters and things like that. So that's cool with me. So we see her, find out a little backstory with her. She went to school with Perry, so she kind of has like a little working or a little friendly relationship with him, a little competition with each other, where where she pretty much trying to one up him and trying to get the bigger scoop. So her being there trying to find a story, I guess, so she can maybe work for them. But we find out at the end it was pretty much a ploy just for her to put dirt on Superman's name and take the story back to Gotham, to the Gotham Gazette. But we see that that Vicky, Lois, Jimmy, they all out here trying to find interview people. But they figured, instead of finding a negative person or find out something bad about Superman, they come up with the idea to take her around town to see all the people that he helped, that that Superman and that lend a hand, and basically inspired all these people. But we all know Vicky wasn't there to see that, so she ended up talking to Dr. Ivo's assistant that we saw in the previous episodes, where he pretty much helped him out with that tech in that episode where he attacked everybody. But now he's talking about Superman like he's the one that started everything, that he was the bad guy, and Vicky's just eating it up. But fast forward to Superman, we see, like I said, since it was a setup where he's trying to find answers where the general is at, they pretty much capture him, take him, where now Jimmy and Lois, they trying to figure out where he's at. And like I said, now we see the general, we see Task Force X, and we see that they still have Livewire and Heatwave and all of these characters that they had before, where we all know that the Suicide Squad or Task Force X usually use villains when they're doing their job, and that Amanda Waller sends them out to do. So this is no different. So yeah, so now we have Superman in custody. We leave off with that. And then going into part two, it left pretty much leave off where Lois and Jimmy trying to find out where Superman is. Now we get a little backstory of General and Amanda back, like where all this kind of started, where we see these flashbacks what Clark is having, and pretty much kind of piecing putting the pieces together that we've been trying to figure out, like who is this general and why is he after Superman in the first place. But we see kind of Amanda Waller and the general, which is revealed to be Sam. I'm thinking it's Sam Lane. That's the only Sam in the DC. That's a general that I know of. So it's pretty much Lois's estranged father. So kind of excited about that. See which direction they're gonna go with that as well. To see, is he gonna have any kind of contact with Lois, and what's the story behind that, and and what happened with him and why he's not in their life. So that's interesting, because we all know that in the comics and like on Superman and Lois, that sometimes Sam Lane is an ally to Superman and in helping saving the world. pretty much. So that's cool. We have to be introduced to that character. We see that they've been knowing each other, him and Amanda Waller. They've been working together. So basically, what ended up happening, it looks like something came through a portal or something where it looks like Kryptonian soldiers or Kryptonian army coming through, where we see the tech and we see the little, looks like a somebody with a suit on, that we saw that in the glimpses of the dreams that Clark be having and everything like that. But pretty much they Kryptonian. It kind of looked like they might have came through from the Phantom Zone. If you watch Young Justice, that was one of the storylines where I think the son of Zod was trying to bring his father back, bring his family back from the Phantom Zone by using a phantom projector or something like that. So it looks like that's maybe the same thing. So got to watch the next episode or see what's going to happen. So hopefully we'll find out. I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. What's going to happen with that. So, but yeah. So we see that backstory that they know each other, and pretty much with that invasion, it made them start the Task Force X, where they feel like they had to, regulate or help save the world by getting rid of these people, by the Kryptonians, and they ended up using their tech to use as weapons against them. So pretty much all that tech and what Ivo and them was creating was coming from the same tech that whoever came through that portal that was fighting against them. So that was cool. They connected the dots with that too, because we've been seeing this tech throughout the season and throughout the episodes, where now it's coming full circle. Now we pretty much know what's going on. So now we see the general, he's speaking with Superman. Superman still's confused, trying to figure out what's going on, but the general kind of tells him, like, this is what's happening because of this invasion. Like, you were part of it, your ship came down with it. So it's almost like he's being faulted just because he came from the same place, and he thinks that he might be the same, that he is there to to take over or to rule, just like the other Kryptonians that came. We saw that on Smallville as well, where early on Clark kind of rejected his father, Jor-El, thinking that he was sent there to be a conqueror, where he got the message wrong, and it really wasn't about that. But in the end, he figured out his destiny, his true destiny, and where he ended up becoming Superman in the end when that series ended. So it's kind of like that as well. So we see the general speaking to Superman about it. He sees that he genuinely don't know what's going on, and now he has sympathy for Superman and feel like maybe they got it wrong. But we see Waller, she's pretty much invested in and what she's been doing. Figured that the general, he's being too soft, that he's not the man, that she once knew back in the day with the flashback that we saw, that their visions are different. And, we all know that Amanda Waller went on to do the Suicide Squad, which is almost like an extension of this Task Force X, where now we see the separation between the general and her, where now I can see where it's going to go off into the Suicide Squad. So maybe we may see something with that too, and and see if she has a team of people as well, and kind of see if the general becomes an ally of Superman, like we see in the comics. So just interested to find out and see what's going to happen with that. But now that he's an ally, it looks like Amanda Waller, she ended up letting the prisoners go, let them go after Superman. And since Ivo, he pretty much has a vendetta against Superman because of what he did to him and destroyed his tech, and pretty much took that drew all that energy from him. But now that he's back, he's seeking revenge. But now, like we saw early on in this part 2 of this episode, where something happened where Superman, like I said, he's been exhausted by keep saving everybody, where he tried to save I believe, one of the villains, I think, and cause of the accident where now they look at him as if he's the bad guy. So now his confidence is low. So as now moving forward, as he's fighting Ivo, it's like I said, his confidence low. People don't believe in him as much, and then now he's doubting his own self because he found out that his people, or that he may be just, not a hero. So now we see that Jimmy and Lois, they putting a plea out there to the people. Jimmy reveals that he's Flamebird and let his viewers know that Superman needs his help. Lois does the same, let them know that he needs our confidence. He need us to believe in him. Just basically to help him, get the confidence and get himself back together. So we see that he hears everything, because now the super hearing, that he hears everybody cheering him on, giving him that strength that he needs. So now we see that cool scene when he shoots up like a super speed, but flying, and snatch Ivo out of the suit, destroys the suit, and pretty much put him back in custody. But it seems like everybody else escaped though. But that was cool. So we kind of wrapped up with that now that Jimmy, he's carrying the bags, and he ends up seeing the spear, that the same thing that Lois saw. So now he knows what Superman can do, and maybe that might be the Clark that they know, or that may be the future. But like I said, could be different Earths or different versions of Superman. With this multiverse theme of throughout the movies and things, I wouldn't be surprised if it has something to do with that. But then we also, at the end, we see the scene with Lois and Clark. It's always cool because we know the future of these characters. We know the love story of these guys, that, Lois wouldn't be a Superman without him or without her, and vice versa. It's like you can't do a movie or show without both characters. So we see the little scene where they embrace, they kiss, they get the flying in the air and spinning around, like we see like in the Superman movie where they float in the air, they do they flying. And then on Smallville as well too, where every time that when Clark he he kind of embraces his powers, he kind of floats a little bit while dancing or flying a little bit, that he's taking them up in the air. So it's pretty much a little nod to the Superman lore, and it's cool, we get to see that. So as us fans, me being a fan of Superman, I appreciate it. But yeah, but that pretty much wraps up the part 1 and part 2 of this episode. Going into episode 10, I believe it's titled Hearts of the Feather for the Fathers. So be on the lookout for my trailer breakdown for that. I will be posting that shortly after I post this video. Make sure you stay locked in for that. So I thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and for your support. I thank you guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. Peace.